Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Dipankar, and today in this video we are going to talk about login flows. So login flow is a type of flow that triggers just after the user logs into the Salesforce org successfully. So I have a use case that I have came across recently wherein whenever the user tries to log into the Salesforce, we will just display a checkbox to the user mentioning that whether the user agrees to the terms and conditions of the Salesforce org or not. If the user agrees, well and good. If the user does not agree, we are going to forcefully log the user out, right? So this is what we are going to do in this videos, right? So to use this we are going to do the combination of login flows with a Salesforce screen flows. So the documentation provided by Salesforce is here for the custom login flows, and even there is also a documentation mentioning how to apply the login flows. We can use some of the variables that have been provided by Salesforce, and there is also documentation how to set up the login flows and connect to profiles, right? So let's understand our use case. We are as soon as the user tries to log into the Salesforce, we are going to display a checkbox. If the user checks in, so we are going to capture the date and time of at the time of when the user checked in, right? So for that we have created a custom field, attestation date and time. And if the user does not agree, we are going to forcefully log the user out, right? So for that, let's get started. So I am here in my Salesforce setup page. I have in the flow screen, right? So you just have to click on flows and you can just create a new flow. So yeah, so this is the flow screen. I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm just clicking on next, and again we are going to do a screen flow, and I'm just gonna click on create. So whenever the starts, we are just going to present a screen to the user first, and we are going to show a checkbox, right? Accept terms and conditions. So the API name properly valid successfully, and I mean we can also use some display text. Uh, we can say display text so instead of this I'll just use a underscore, right? uh, I'll just write you need to agree to the terms and conditions to log into Salesforce, right? So this is what we are going to display, and this is done, right? So okay, so it says errors, just given screen. I'll just name it as screen 1. We can give it any name. So that's it. Flow level, I think we don't need to the give to the flow levels, right? So can we hide it? Configure header, not gonna show it. Okay, so we are done. So we have displayed the checkbox and the text message to the user. So now we are going to add a decision element to check if the user has agreed to the terms and conditions or not. Check terms and conditions. So this can be agreed, right? So whenever say agreed, that means the screen ones accept terms and conditions is true, right? And if it does not agree, then it will go to default outcome. So that's it. So we are just gonna use to this. Now if the user agrees, right, so we'll write an update record. And in update record, in the user, we have this field attestation date and time, right? So we are just going to update the attestation date and time with the current time. So let's go back. We'll write update user record. Okay. So uh, we'll specify the terms and conditions. We'll specify the user. So we are going to do it for user record, right? So we'll select user, and for this, so that means we are having the user, and we'll match about the user's ID, right? Let me see. Directly write ID. There should be ID, field ID, user ID. Let me see. This one, right? User ID should be equals to, let's say, do we have the flow variables, right? So from the flows, we'll get the login user. We are not getting it, no problem. Let's try to see other. Okay, so we also have user and ID, right? So we whenever the user ID matches with the ID, we are going to update the attestation date and time with the current time of the flows, right? So current date time of the flows, right? And in case the user does not agree, what are you going to do? We are going to forcefully log out the user, right? To forcefully log out the user, what I'm gonna do is, there is a variable provided by Salesforce. So we are going to forcefully log out the user, right? To forcefully log out the user, we have to first create a variable. So this is the important thing, one of the variable that we can use in order to do some calculations in the login flows, right? So these variables, I mean, not only this one, force logout, all these variables have been provided by Salesforce. You can go and play around with them. For us, we just need this one. So I'm just gonna create a variable. I'm gonna do the name as login flow force logout. The data type should be checkbox, right? So uh, checkbox means boolean, uh, right? So this is what we are going to do. Now we are also going to make it available for input and also for the output. So this part is done, and to forcefully make the user log out, we are going to use an assignment, and in the assignment we will use the login flow force logout is equals to true, right? And so I'll also name it as force logout. So even if I do this, that also will not work. We somehow, I mean, no, I am not sure if it is from Salesforce or something. So somehow we need to have another screen element to it. So just after the assignment. So we'll just add a screen element. The screen will never come up, but we just have to give it as is, right? So that's it done, and I think uh, this should work ideally. So this is what we are going to achieve. So we have created a screen flow, right? But how to make this screen flow present after the login? So for that we have saved the flows. So let me give it a name as login screen flow. I'll give the flow API name. Description I am leaving it as empty for the sake of time. So we have done our flow thing, right? So let's gonna activate it. So we are up to this part. So now I am in the login flow screen. So whenever we are I mean, whenever we want to prompt the user to log into the Salesforce, we need to show this particular screen flow to the user, right? So for that, for each kind of profile there should be a different record or something, you can call it over here. So let's say we are going to use a flow You can also use visual force, but for the sake of simplicity we are going to use flows. And the name, I am gonna use login flow. For, let's say I'm going to do it for system admin, so I'll write sysadmin because I don't have much different licenses because of this is a day work, right? So now for the flow I can you choose login flows, right? Let me see, login screen flow. And user license, we can choose Salesforce, and for the Salesforce we are going to choose the profile as system administrator. So this is also done, right? So now let's do one thing. Let's use the data export. um, I'll write select id from user where name equals to my name, right? So okay, so the okay, so there is a typo. So for email, let me try to give is the email. So I have the id. Let me see why I am not giving the name, email. And we are also interested in this attestation date time. Okay, so the name is wrong, so that's why it was not giving us the result. So we have the user id, but the attestation date time is now empty since we have created a login flow, right? Now let me do one thing. I'm just gonna log out and I'll log back again. And if I am able to successfully log out, the attestation date time should be populated over here, right? So, and also I need to be able to see that checkbox just after login, right? So let me just hit on login. So you see this, right? You need to agree to the terms and conditions to be able to log into Salesforce. If I'm agreeing, it will let me log in and it will just update the attestation date and time. For the first time, just let me click on next. I'm not going to agree it. It should forcefully log me out. Okay. So you see this, it just logged me out. Now for the second time, let me do one thing. Let me try to log in again. And this time I am going to accept the terms and conditions. And it should be able to log me in and also should be able to update the attestation date and time. Now let me click on next. Right, so I don't want to register my phone, that's fine. So it just logged me in. Now what I can do, I am just again going to do the data export. Okay, and now this attestation date time should be populated properly, right? So let me run export. You see this, right? So this is just a simple example of login flows, right? And I will also attach these links, these documentation links provided by Salesforce in the description, so you can also able to refer it. So that's it for this video. I hope you find it something interesting, and thank you for watching.